Hello my friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I do car reviews and a little bit of DIY stuff. Next to me is the all new 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy. This is the most expensive and the fanciest version of the Hyundai Palisade. And it's absolutely fully loaded. It has incredible luxury features. And for a price point of $57,000 as tested, it's a real bargain if you want to have luxury without going to a luxury brand and have it all. Stay tuned, that's coming up next. And before I continue, I want to say a big thank you to Hyundai for allowing me to have this 2026 Hyundai Palisade in my home test area for me to review for you guys. Thank you, Hyundai, you guys are awesome. Stay tuned, that's coming up next. Okay, let's start the review of the all-new 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy. Up front, brand new for 2026, it has a very bold and completely dramatic departure from the previous generation. The first generation, which this is the second generation of the Hyundai Palisade. And as you can see, it has these enormous turn signals and daytime running lights that adorn the side of the car. You have your low beam on the top, high beam on the bottom. Very hard to pick up on camera because it is daylight, but you do have a little light strip that goes right there, and that lights up at night, which looks very classy. And when you unlock the car at night, the lights do a little dance and they kind of do a little welcome sequence. You do have the massive giant Hyundai emblem in the front. Very little fancy grille. You do have the grille shutters on the bottom. Radar sensor lives in there. It has parking sensors in the front-facing camera, because this vehicle does have a 360 camera. So let's walk around the sides. This color is called cast iron brown. I'm not gonna lie, when I got the paperwork for this car, I got a little nervous. I was like, oh man, I'm getting a brown car. But when I showed up, I was like, you know what, it's not that bad. But of course, color is subjective, because Hyundai has a healthy palette of colors for the Palisade, so obviously it's subjective. But this one being the Calligraphy, it's riding on 21-inch wheels wrapped in Pirelli Scorpion tires. These are absolutely massive tires at 265/45, and other trims like the XRT gets lower wheels, obviously smaller wheels. This one being the Calligraphy, it has everything. And look on the side, you guys can see how big that turn signal is, which is absolutely massive. There's another one of those parking sensors, reflector light, and it's a good looking SUV. I gotta say, this thing definitely has presence. Actually, at night, this color looks gray, which is interesting. So at night, it kind of looks like gray, and then now that the sun is hitting it, it looks, it shows its true color. And this is a good profile view. And then you could definitely see the influence, Range Rover-ish look, especially right there in the back, the taillights. And I do like the chrome accents all over the place. Black mirror, shiny black plastic on the pillars, giant door handles. And it's a good looking SUV. Here's a good look at the back. The lights are flickering on camera, but they don't do that. That's just the way, unfortunately, LED taillights look like. But you do have the turn signal, this little LED strip right here. Going to the back, you have this massive Hyundai emblem and Palisade written out in huge lettering. This vehicle can tow up to 5,000 pounds. It does have an integrated tow hitch, which lives underneath that panel there. You can remove that, and the tow hitch receiver is in there. It has trailer brake controller. And now that we're back here, let's before we open actually the trunk, this car is camera galore. So there is your traditional backup camera right there. This one is the mirror cam, and for the first time ever, the Hyundai Palisade has dash cam. Yes, it has a dash cam in the glass. It's right there. You can't see it, but there's one here and then one in the front that detects motion. And I'll show you guys what that looks like in the interior portion of the video. Now that we're back here, let's just open the ginormous trunk lid, and let's take a look at the cargo area. So the way it is right now, behind the third row seats, you get about 19 cubic feet of cargo capacity. And if you were to fold, you press this button here to fold them, you fold the third row seats, then that capacity jumps to about 46 cubic feet, which is huge. And this is why, one of the reasons why people prefer three-row SUVs, not necessarily for the third row, more for the cargo. And then let's say you want even more space, no problem. You can just press this button again. I like how they do second row and third row. And then you can just press those guys right there and absolutely fold them and unfold them with one touch for a massive 86 cubic feet of cargo capability, which is absolutely crazy and it's huge. Definitely could do your Home Depot runs and everything. There's a couple of creature comforts back here, which we'll go over. And then here's one very genius feature that Hyundai did. If you want to raise them, you could just press this button that says all. In one touch, you raise all of them in one go, which genius, and super easy. Your hands are full. You got all the seats already popped up. Super cool. Underneath, we'll go over the, let me move my little one's booster seat out of the way. Underneath this, you do have a little cubby down here for stuff. This car does have a spare tire underneath the car. All right, let's go over the the features of this 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy. And I want to add, I do like how the taillight goes like so right there. Very nice, and a good job, Hyundai, for making this thing look super classy. Oh, and let me just pop the hood on this guy, show you guys what's going on underneath this sculpted hood. So you get two options for the first time. You can get the Palisade in a hybrid. Unfortunately, this is not the hybrid one because everybody wants it, so I have to wait my turn. But underneath this hood is a new 3.5 liter V6 that makes 287 horsepower and 260 pounds-feet of torque. Made it to an 8-speed automatic. Buttery smooth engine. We'll go over more of the driving impressions later on in the drive. All right, let's hop in. Let's look at the luxury features of this 2026 Hyundai Palisade. Stay tuned for that. All right, before I show the interior, I have to show, of course, the party trick that most Hyundais have. So this is what Hyundai's keys look like now. If you put it like this, it's kind of like the Hyundai logo. So you have unlock, lock, remote start, panic. You have the trunk release, and this is the smart park. You press this to go forward, press this to go backward. So how do you do that? Press lock once, press and hold the engine start, and press whichever direction you want to go. So if I'm pressing forward now, the car will start moving forward. As you guys can see, there's nobody in there. I let go of the key, it stops. And if somebody goes in front of it and behind it, it will stop. And if you press this button, it will start backing up slowly until you let it go, or until the car says, hey, I don't want to hit myself, let me stop. Super cool feature. You press this, it unlocks, it turns off the car, and it turns on the parking brake. All right, let's step inside the Hyundai Palisade. So to get in, of course, being keyless entry, only in the front two doors, you could just go in, walk up to it, put your hand on the door handle, mirrors blink, the auto folding mirrors, so they unlock. And this is when you see, compared to the XRT version that I reviewed, this one is very nice. Materials here are super top notch, soft padded everything, This one does have memory seats for 2 drivers. It does have a massaging seats as well for the passenger, for the driver's side. Super nice materials, auto up and down all 4 windows. Nice stitching. This little soft material padded here. The only thing that I gotta knock it a little bit, not a little, which we'll go over. If you see, hard to pick up on camera, but let me just quick. It has very fancy Bose speaker grills on the A-pillars. Very nice. But then they didn't do it here. But I can see why they did it, because they figured this is gonna get beat up by people. So this is why this part of the door panel is actually hard plastic and not fancy, which is fine. Makes sense. So you do have a decent amount of pocket for your drinks and stuff like that. This one's a little bit of a snug fit, but it does fit. But this one's a little bit bigger, so you can get in there. And these seats are very, they're beautiful. These are Napa leather seats. Super comfortable. They do have the calligraphy font right there, all spelled out. Super nice. We got a nice little calligraphy little tag here. And these seats do a little, they have like relax mode. So if you press, before we start pressing the button, so this has 4-way lumbar support, as you can see, up, down, front, and right. But if you press this button here, because this car does have the ottoman feature, you press and hold this button. Nope, that one, there you go. And as you guys can see, the seat starts moving backwards. And I guess it's in this relaxed mode, and you see the little footrest coming up, and you basically have a lawn chair. Super cool. I guess if you're waiting for your kid at the pickup line, you just want to relax while you wait for your kids to come out of school or soccer practice, you could just chillax in your Palisade while you wait. I do like this little signature on each seat. Super nice. Again, this, you can get the Palisade in whatever color you want. Black interior, light interior. And over here, before we step inside, you have controls for the trunk, auto start stop right here, tow mode, traction control on and off, electronic parking brake, and there's the vent. And let's step inside. Stepping height is not too bad. I'm 5'8", and I can just climb up here. And new for 2026, again, Hyundai completely redesigned this vehicle from the ground up. The steering wheel, as you can see, no longer has the Hyundai badge. It just has 4 little dots, which means Hyundai in Morse code. And on the left side of the wheel, we have controls for the cruise control. So you got to set your speed, your distance, lane departure, and lane keep assist buttons right here. On the right side, you have controls for the media. And start button now, start button and shifter, move away from the center console and now on the column. So you press the button here for start. And in front of you, you have dual 12.3-inch displays. One for instrument cluster duties and the other one for infotainment. So which we'll go over in a little bit. And this, if you're wondering what that is, that's a attention driver monitor system that pays attention to your eyes, making sure you're paying attention to the road. The steering wheel is not power, but it is tilt and telescopic, so you can of course adjust it to your liking, like so. And then once you're happy with your desired position, you just lock it in place. Automatic wipers, of course, automatic headlights, and Hyundai's famous blind spot camera, which is genius. It activates the camera underneath each mirror. If you're turning left, it turns on the left camera, as you guys can see. And if you're turning right, it turns on the right camera. Super useful, especially for when you're merging or passing on the highway. It will let you know. And of course, it has Hyundai's latest highway driving assist safety system. So lane keep assist, lane departure warning, automatic cruise control. It will come to a complete stop and it will resume by itself. So you just sit here and it will drive for you to a certain degree. Not completely, obviously. You still have to pay attention. And every now and then it will yell at you to hold the steering wheel, and you just touch it and it'll do its thing. Moving on Oh, and moving on to the middle, you do have, hello, this is an auto dimming mirror, but it is also a camera. Like I showed you guys outside, there's a camera mounted on the top of the glass. So you could have a car full of people, full of cargo, full of stuff. No one's head is going to get in the way because you can see. And you can actually even clean it with a dedicated windshield washer. You could just push it forward and it will spray the actual camera, which again is genius how it does that. And it will spray the backup camera as well. So super useful technology there. And what the front facing dash cam lives underneath this. So there's the standard automatic safety camera, which, you know, that's for the lane keep assist, the automatic braking, all that stuff. But then there's a second camera that does dash cam duties. And you're probably wondering, what does that look like? And most importantly, where does the data go? So the data doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go to the cloud. It stays locally. There's actually a SD card right. Let me see if I can get the camera. Right there, there's a SD card slot and the memory where the data goes for the camera. And to access it, you just have to go here. And let me get my camera to focus. You press this guy here. And yep, you got a little warning here. And then you just press it and it starts going into the dash cam screen. And then let me actually back up, because every time I come film in this place, always somebody comes in here. They do this weird U-turn like this guy here, and he's not doing a damn thing, which is very stupid. But anyway, I digest every time I'm here. Every time somebody comes in here and just comes in to try to mess up my shot. But anyway, that's the power. That's the thing of filming. Anyway, so this is what it looks like, which is super cool, and it will film. This is the front camera and this is the rear camera. Super crisp views, and yeah, it's great. It does its thing. It will record when you're parked. It records when it detects motion. It will show you what gear you're in, the turn signals, the speed, date, time, pretty much everything. And it's super cool and it's super unique. And I think it's about time that cars have built-in dash cams. And this is when I was recording. Actually, when I was backing up, you guys can see the moving and everything. So super cool feature. I think this is genius. I think every non-EV should have that. This is using Hyundai's latest infotainment system. Super easy to use. You have dedicated buckets for everything. So you have phone projection, voice memo, dash cam setup, trailer, weather, sports, valet mode, Hyundai Pay, vehicle diagnostics, service. Pretty much super easy, and it has built-in Alexa integration. So you can say, Alexa, turn on my car, turn on my Hyundai, and it will do things like that. And yeah, so, and of course, this vehicle does have, like I mentioned, does have a 360 camera. So the button is all the way over here now. And that's what it looks like when you are in 360 mode. So that's the front view, that's the back view. And it does have trajectory lines, as you guys can see. And you could do different kind of views, just that view, the mirror view, and then this one, which is just the entire back. And of course, this one has a little 3D car thing that you can, of course, spin around like this. It would be cool if you could change the color to match the car's color, but there it is. So super useful and unique. And moving on to the center console, you have this ginormous center console. This car does have, in every single Palisade, standard 100-watt USB-C chargers. So everywhere, all over the cabin, you're gonna get these guys. This is imitation wood, but it does look and feel like real wood. And also new for 2026, before we go to continue the center, you do have a capacitive touch screen here. So you can turn on the heated or ventilated seats, which this vehicle has. It has the first row and second row, and third row is heated, which we'll go over in a second. You can control the rear, the front, pretty much everything. Excuse me. Of course, dual zone climate control. On the Left side, if we go back to, excuse me, the right side, you do have the button to turn on and off the parking sensors. This is downhill assist control. So that basically behaves like a, I guess you could say downhill cruise control. So if you want to go down a hill, it will pretty much do the braking for you. You don't have to do anything but steer. It does have ambient lighting. There's more of that imitation fabric. Very, very nice. Little cubby right here as well. Another little cubby. Let me try to get the camera right there underneath this giant center console. Going back to the center console, you do have two very, very large cup holders. You do have one wireless charging, fast wireless charging pads, I might add. And something a little weird and unique, I guess, during the pandemic times, this is a UV sanitizer. So you turn this guy on and then you open this bifold center glove box, and then you put your devices, you close the lid, and supposedly it will sanitize your devices. So I don't know if it works, I don't know what it does, but obviously there's no real way to know what it's doing. And it does have paddle shifters going back to the steering wheel, so you got left and right paddles. And it does have different, new for 2026, you do have also auto brake hold, which will hold the brake when you're driving. If you come to a complete stop, it will just automatically brake. And you guys can see that light. Let me show you. See, zoom in. Right there, it says auto brake hold, which is enabled. Super useful feature in traffic and a big hill, whatever. You can just enable that. You do have different drive modes. So you have things like, let me zoom in back in. So you have, drive modes, you have normal, you have eco, you have normal, eco, sport, and then my drive, which you can configure what the car does. And then if you press that same button again, you go into terrain mode, and you got snow, you have mud, and you have sand, which no one's taking this car off-road, but it's good to have. I guess if you're stuck in hairy situations, you can, different modes, you can configure the way the screen looks. By default, it will show you needles. Right now it's just set to simple mode, which is pretty cool and modern and high tech. And that is pretty much it up front. The seats are very, like I said, I'm very comfortable. I'm 5'8". I fit perfectly fine. You do have a standard size sunroof that actually goes out instead of into the car. Not the biggest one in the world. If you press this and click it back, and it will close. Manual sunshade for the middle. So now let's step into the back seats and see all the luxury features back there. And then the third seat, and then we'll go for a quick drive. And this vehicle, being the Calligraphy, does have a head-up display. Hard to pick up on camera, but let me see if I can zoom in real quick. Yep, there it is. You see that little floating 0. So it will show you the speedometer. It will show you the speedometer, turn-by-turn navigation, blind spot warning, pretty much everything on that head-up display. And headliner is wrapped in suede. Like I said earlier, you got the fancy Bose speaker grill, super nice. All right, let's step inside the back seats of the Hyundai Palisade, and then we'll go to the third row in our quick drive. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's step into the back seats of the Hyundai Palisade, and this is when you see and know how ginormous this car is. Just looking at this door opening, it's almost 90 degrees, which is insane. It's huge. Materials continue to be very nice, just like the front. Integrated sunshades, which I keep saying this in every video. Every car should have this, no matter what trim it is. This should be a standard affair in every single SUV. Even sedans should have this, not just luxury cars. Ginormous door handle. Giant door handle right here. Everything is circle, nice circle door handle right here. Cup holder right here. Looks like a little cell phone slot. And nice little speaker grill. And this is actually a genius piece of technology for family. It actually turns on a blind spot warning indicator if it detects a vehicle is coming, and it will not open the door. Let's say your kid wants to get out and the car detects a vehicle is coming. They press it real quick, it will not lock, which is very, very nice. So it kind of serves like an automatic child lock, so to speak. And back here, because this is the calligraphy, the materials, of course, also continue. Very, very nice headrest. Same materials up front, Napa leather seats. And this also has the relaxed mode. You press this button too, and you see the seat doing its thing and relaxing. It doesn't have the ottoman like in the front two seats, but nonetheless, it still has that feature. So, and they're fully powered, like you guys can see. Let's step inside. And this is a very nice place to be. I have a lot of room. I'm 5'8". This is how it looks like behind my driving position. And let me quickly spin the camera around. And I have a lot of headroom, even though it has this glass roof here. Super comfortable back here. And you have vents, climate vents on the top, LED lighting everywhere. The controls for the center, for the third zone climate move from the middle to the top. So here's where you have the heated, ventilated and heated seats. Of course, you can control your own temperature back here. You can also lock it from the front, and this way the kids are not messing with the climate control back here. And this glass roof is very, very nice. It doesn't open the glass, but it does have a power shade. It's a shame that you can't control it from back here. You can control it only from the front, which is interesting. Back here, you do have USB-C ports in each seat, so kids can connect their devices right there. Same right here. And you also get a traditional household style outlet, so you can plug in your actual devices. This vehicle does have, let me move my back out of the way, it does have an actual drawer, so kind of like a built-in trash can. Super useful. And I don't know how useful this would be, but I guess you can do this, and the seats can also go into relax mode from here, which is which is crazy how it does that. And you press it again and they go back to how they were. Let me just press it back here. A little tricky to do, but so I don't know why you would need this, but it's there, I guess. And you can play with the seats, you can move them forward, backwards. And it's a very nice, this is a very nice place to be. It's not a penalty box. Obviously, second row is huge. You do have this one because it has the captain's chairs. You do have a very large pass-through to get to the third row seats, which we'll go over now. So let's hop in there back there, and I'll show you two ways. Of course, you can go this way, and you can go by pressing, move the seat a little bit to the forward, but you can do it two ways. So you can do this to fold the seat, and this one to move it. So you press it, and people complain that it is a little on the slow side. Let me just press it. I mean, it is a little slow, but I guess if you're patient, the seat does this thing. You could leave a child seat booster into it because it kind of tilts forward. And let me climb in here. You get in, you press that button again, and the seat slowly comes back. And I have room here. I mean, the seat can be moved a little bit further forward, but if you are cramped, you can just press the controls here for the third row seats, and you can move it back, and you gain more leg room here. And you can also recline them. So you can recline them. Also, three levels heating, which is very rare in a non-luxury space. You do have another USB-C that lights up. Nice little speaker here. You do have two giant cup holders. And let me spin the camera around. And this is how I would sit back here. Let me see if I recline the seat. I'm comfortable. I'm 5'8". It's not like I'm being tortured here. It's not a torture chamber. And of course, you have lights back here. You have LED lights. You have vents for a trip. You know, two people though. Three is asking for too much. Yeah, it's not too bad. All right, let's take this 2026 Hyundai Palisade for my first drive and final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. And this is a view all the way from the third seat all the way to the front. All right, stay tuned for that. Let's take this guy for a drive. And before we go on a quick drive, if you're wondering how you set up your child seats, anchors are easily accessible. So you have one here, one here. You can just click it like so, click it like so, and just pull it in like so. This is a Chico booster seat, super easy. Of course, it has built-in cup holders. Seat belts easy for the kiddos to reach, and they can buckle themselves. My daughter has no issue. And of course, there is a ratcheting armrest on each seat. All right, let's take this guy for a quick drive and final thoughts. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's drive the 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy, the fanciest version of the Hyundai Palisade. And I said this in the previous video when I reviewed the XRT version. The shift points on the transmission are a little on the lazy side, meaning when you're driving, you kind of have to not floor it, but you have to really press on it so it can move. So normal driving, you just press on it, it drives fine. But sometimes like merging or passing power, you may feel like you have to really get it. You could solve that problem easy by just clicking this and put it in sport mode, and then the transmission wakes up a little bit more. The shift points are a little bit more livelier, so you can merge and pass fine. You know, that's just me nitpicking little things. On the highway is fine. It's buttery smooth. I'm actually gonna lower the temperature a little bit because I'm a little hot. And the engine, I do like that, has a nice growl to it. Nice little engine note to it. I haven't driven the hybrid one, so I hopefully will be able to get my hands on it in 2026. So I am at the tail end of my review videos. So today's date is December 7th, 2025. So later in the year. So I'll just wait for the next one. I'll wait for the new 2026 in the new year, so to get my hands on the hybrid version, which I'm curious because that has first is the first hybrid Palisade, number one, and two, that has more power. It has a 2.4 turbocharged four-cylinder engine, making 329 horsepower and 330 torque. Excuse me. So here we go. So you hear the engine. So I'm merging here. Of course, that very, very useful blind spot camera doing an excellent job. And yeah, people will buy this by the millions because it is a very smooth SUV. And let me turn on the highway driving assist here. And yeah, no hands, no feet. It's doing this thing, it's driving. Any minute now, it will probably yell at me, and it will show in the screen here to hold on to the steering wheel, but there it goes. And it will also show the head-up display, and it also shows the car in front of you, around you, which is super nice, especially when you're in a major highway. It will enable all that, but let me see. I don't think the camera's gonna pick that up, but right now it's showing you a little version of the Palisade. It's showing you the road lines. Super, super useful technology, super cool. Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for anything better. A system that actually works. It will work completely to a full stop and stop and go traffic. Super useful vehicle. Super useful technology in day-to-day traffic. And yeah, it's been a great week. driving this around. The lighting is excellent. If I can, I will see if I can get myself, if I can do it, do a little quick lighting demo at night. Show you guys a little sequence of what it looks like at night. Very bright lights, super light, super bright. It does have, of course, automatic high beam. So when you're driving, it will automatically turn on the high beams for you when there's nobody in front of you. So it does a good job of doing that. And yeah, that's it. This has been my first full review and week, of course, with the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. I hope you all have a happy holidays and a prosper and wonderful new year. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and stay safe, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Thank you guys. I'll see you all on the next one.